Mark Rogers TV, week 3 of our college football predictions. We feel pretty good about a solid 11-8 last weekend against the spread. We hit on 2 straight confidence picks with Purdue plus 14 against Notre Dame. We also took Stanford and laid the 15 against Duke, the Cardinal winning that game 50-13. A number of blowout games with basically no lines, so we run those down really quick with Kansas State, Clemson, Oregon, West Virginia, Arizona, Georgia, and South Carolina. Again, huge lines or no lines on those games, so take all the favorites, despite what happened to Arkansas last week against Louisiana Monroe. The ACC and the SEC pretty much in full conference swing this week, but we start in the Big Ten with Michigan at home against UMass, and the Wolverines a big 45.5-point favorite. And I think we could pick up about 10 friends, go out there against the Wolverines, take the 45, and be a pretty safe pick. I didn't even look at UMass's performance to date. I'm taking UMass, the Minutemen, keep it within 45 points with a 45.5 at the Big House. Staying in the Big Ten, Ohio State and Cal, and the Buckeyes have to stand up for Big Ten pride in this one. The conference was a woeful 1-6 against the other BCS conferences last week, with Northwestern, of all teams, coming up with the 2 big non-conference wins against Syracuse and Vandy the last 2 weeks. The Big Ten was 0-3 against the Pac-12, but Ohio State welcomes Cal. The Buckeyes a 16.5-point favorite. Buckeyes win. Cal covers the 16.5 points there. Michigan State-Notre Dame, one of the games we've got our eye on this week. We shot a video a couple days ago, so check that out. Spartans and Irish, a big college football preview here on Mark Rogers TV. We like Michigan State to win this game at 23-20. That means Spartans win outright. Notre Dame plus the 6 in a confidence pick. Florida State-Wake, we like a Wake to keep it close. Check out the game log between these 2 teams over the last several years, and Wake usually gives the Seminoles some troubles there. Florida State does win the game handily, but again, we like the Demon Deacons plus the 28 points there. We stay in the ACC with Virginia Tech taking on a Pitt squad that's woeful at this point, and a road double-digit favorite is tough to take, but in this case, we love the Hokies defense. Again, at Pitt with a veteran quarterback in Logan Thomas. Virginia Tech minus 10 over Pitt in that one. Louisville, North Carolina, with the Cardinals trying to separate themselves as the best team in the Big East, taking on North Carolina. We like Louisville at home, minus the 3 against the Heels. Georgia Tech, Virginia, a key game in the ACC with Virginia, a 10.5-point underdog on the road. Georgia Tech's going to win the game, but the Cavs keep it they keep it close under Coach Mike London by 10.5 points there against Tech. Texas in an interesting game at Ole Miss, Longhorns and Rebels, and again we've got a big underdog or a big favorite on the road with the Longhorns plus 9.5 against Ole Miss as Coach Freeze tries to get things going at Ole Miss. We've got TCU and Kansas as we keep it in the Big 12, and TCU covers the 21 against the Jayhawks. USC and Stanford, another huge game here. This has turned into quite the rivalry pretty much since Jim Harbaugh pulled off the victory as a 40-point underdog at the Coliseum a few years ago. And, of course, the Cardinal won a thriller last season, but USC, so talented on the outside, too much speed, too much talent overall. The Cardinal keeps it somewhat close, but USC pulls away late with some big passing plays. We like Barkley and company minus the 9.5 against Stanford. Take USC. UCLA has been mighty impressive in 2 games. They have racked up all sorts of points and yards against Nebraska and against Rice in the opener. So for UCLA, is there a big letdown as they become a ranked team for the first time in 4 years? Or are they building confidence under Jim Mora? We like the confidence play here with Houston struggling without Coach Kevin Sumlin. The Cougars are on off to an 0-2 start. They're still pass happy, 4th in the nation in passing yardage, but giving up big points on the other side. Take the Bruins minus the 17 at home against Houston. All right, BYU and Utah. Jordan win out of this game for the Utes. Utah loses to Utah State last week, and they lose to BYU here. We take the Cougars on the road minus the 4 to cover against Utah. We move on to the SEC with some of the top teams in the country in action. One of them, LSU, with not much of a challenge against Idaho. We like the Bayou Bengals to cover the 42.5 points against Idaho. Then two huge games in the SEC. Florida 2-0 with a big conference win. Would have been a non-conference win last season. Texas A&M led this one by 10 points. Florida came back in the second half and really dominated the football game. Huge win from Will Muschamp against the Aggies. So Florida, Tennessee, we like Florida plus the 3 points against Tennessee as the Vols try to go to 3-0 as well. And both these teams ranked. The Vols for the first time, like the Bruins, for the first time in 4 years. And then finally, what we expected all offseason to be an enormous game with Alabama taking on Arkansas, the Hogs 8th ranked this time last week, but of course the stunner at home against Louisiana Monroe, and the status of quarterback Tyler Wilson way up in the air. He's got a head injury. They're going to be very cautious about that. So you've got a redshirt freshman possibly playing in Brandon Allen and also Brandon Mitchell, who's a converted wide receiver. That does not spell good news for the Hogs, even at home against the nation's best team and certainly best defense. Alabama minus 20 is a confidence play. They run away and hide in this one 44-14. Tide wins it. Again, a confidence pick minus 20. Would love to hear your forecast on this week's games on Mark Rogers TV.